Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be reviewing TT Isle of Man 3. I want to say a big thank you to Dead Good Media for providing me a code on the behalf of Raceward Studio, and this video would not be possible without their support. Now for full disclosure, I am playing on PC, everything is natively recorded at 4K and locked at 60 frames per second. All of the settings options have been pushed to their maximum except motion blur. Turn motion blur off to retain that fidelity during the gameplay. Now the first thing I want to bring up is the sound of the bikes. The sound makes a huge difference to the whole immersive feeling of TT Isle of Man 3. I could sit and just listen to the sounds of these bikes all day. Some sound better than others, granted, but the majority of the bikes sound great from every camera perspective. Now there's some great camera angles in here as well. If you're the fan of the first person perspective, then TT3 is a game that you're going to be wanting to play within the first person helmet cam look. For me, I do prefer the third person, but either or is really great to use, and I don't really feel particularly slower or faster with any of the cameras, therefore being no advantage given to any camera perspective. Massive respect for the way the bikes feel in this game. I know physics is the ultimate most important part of any motorcycle racing game, and the physics feel really responsive. Now there's a couple of moments where you're going to find that I don't understand why I crashed, but the more I played, the more I understood. So this is a game that you're going to have to put time in to get better. So for the beginners out there, jumping on this game could potentially be a bit of a nightmare, which I think could be putting a lot of players off. But an experienced veteran like myself, I picked this game up and I absolutely loved it. Of course I made mistakes, of course I crashed, I still don't know the tracks very well, still learning all the time, but ultimately as we get there, the more and more enjoyment and excitement I'm getting out of TT Isle of Man 3. Now in 2023, when great games come out, they usually have a caveat, and unfortunately TT Isle of Man 3 does continue this trend. I really don't like the texture popping in this game. I was rather critical with it in Rims Racing, and unfortunately it is the same here. The biggest issue is distant braking markers that you are preparing yourself for may not actually spawn in until you're quite close to them. So you're going to have to go on muscle memory rather than actually using braking points around the track, because you cannot guarantee they will load in on time. Take a look at the left hand side of your screen, you can see the walls popping in. In some tracks the grass effectively grows around you, almost like they're rising to wave to the rider as they pass. It's a bit ugly, and what is ugly is this traffic light here. Every single time I do this track, I always see this traffic light and watch it disappear in real time. It's quite annoying, but it's not game breaking, and really once I've passed it, I don't think of it again. But this affects single player and multiplayer, and unfortunately multiplayer is not very solid either. You can see riders just vanish every now and again. The arrows in the bottom left hand corner of the screen move very weirdly and unpredictably, and then finally there's a rubber banding effect that just moves riders across the track for no real reason. Now it's not a game breaker, and I was still able to have some really good online experiences with friends, but it's something that is a bit distracting and I would like it to be fixed, and to be honest I do expect that to be fixed quite sharpish. We are still in the early stages of TT Isle of Man 3. Now of course if you're like me and you spend 90% of your time in single player, then this is where you will want to be. In your career mode you get the option of choosing 2 seasons. A season from the riders from Supersport 22 and a second season in Superbike of the same year. Now, you have to choose one of these riders from each class. You cannot, unfortunately, make your own rider, which for me is a massive missed opportunity. I would have adored taking my custom rider with personalised aesthetics and number up against some of the legends of TT, such as John McGuinness, Peter Hickman and Michael Dunlop. Now upon choosing your rider, whether it be Superbike or Supersport, you can now tackle the free roam aspect of the TT of Isle of Man. Now this massive map is a playground for you to go around anywhere you want to and just discover and unveil objectives and secret challenges to complete through TT Isle of Man 3. Now when it comes to racing games, I am not a fan of free roam. It's not something I really care to do. I want to race, I want to be on the limit, but I will be honest and I will confess, TT3 has done something extremely intuitive when it comes to the career mode. They have incorporated the free roam as a way to learn the island, and most importantly, it is imperative to actually search the island for objectives. You cannot progress your career mode without tackling the free roam and finding the hidden objectives scattered around the entirety of this map. That is the most intuitive way I've seen the career mode handled in any motorbike game as of yet. I think it's fantastic, really love that idea, and of course it rewards you for searching the island. Going up and finding little discovery objectives on the map, for me, was the icing on the cake. I am a big fan of TT, I'm a massive fan of motorbikes, but what is really good to know is there's a little journal entries to tell me more about the TT. Secrets, little bits of information that you may not know of. It's fantastic. Really love that addition, and I'm looking forward to finding all of the history lessons throughout TT Isle of Man 3. Now, as much as I love this game and as much as I enjoyed the career mode, there is an aspect that I really don't like. I find the idea of upgrading bikes completely redundant. All of these bikes are already at maximum spec in the real life TT, so I don't know how I've been able to find better parts to make this BMW M1000 a little bit better. The biggest gripe I have with this is it affects all the leaderboards and it affects racing online. Unless everyone upgrades every single bike maximum or leaves everything stock, you would never get a fair race online. If I take this one that's been upgraded and people are just starting out, I'm always going to have a significant advantage. For single player, I won't be upgrading my bikes, but when it comes to time trials and leaderboards, I guess I'm going to have to be forced into it, same as probably racing online as well. Now, my biggest concern, which I think will happen, is that one of these bikes will be more significant than any of the others, and everyone will just abuse that when it comes to time trials or even racing online. Now, onto a more positive note, I would like to discuss the track selection of TT3. Now, of course, you do have the ability to use the entire map, the entire TT track if you want to, or you can break it down into some of the shorter courses, smaller versions with much less length that might not be intimidating as much to newer players. Now, of course, if you are struggling on a certain section of the circuit, whether it be the TT or some of the smaller versions, you can also break it down into a one-run lap of those small sections. Now, of course, you can do the free practice, you can do the qualifying, and really make your TT experience feel rather real. But the ability in particular to break things down into sections gives this game more longevity, and it also feels like there's more tracks, in an artificial way at least. But I do very much enjoy tackling certain sectors, finding the limits, finding the feeling, and then eventually diving in to the full course of the TT. Now, as we come to the conclusion of my review, I do want to just bring up a couple of pros and cons to help you guys make your mind up whether you should part with your hard-earned money for this game or not. For me, I absolutely love this game. I've played around 15 hours, and I think I'll be playing 115 hours. Really enjoying my time with TT3. As I mentioned at the beginning, the handling is fantastic. It feels responsive, but it also feels challenging enough to keep me on my edge of my toes and to keep me a little bit tense and nervous throughout some of the faster, longer circuits. The sensor speed is second to none. I think with the added sound and the great camera angles, it does give you that sense of speed, the inertia, the feeling of being on the limit. It does a great job for that, but of course, it does have its cons. There's a few issues. The texture popping is, quite frankly, ugly. I really hope that gets fixed, but I'm not hopeful with the KT engine. I don't think it can be fixed. There's a few points which I do think will be fixed, and I certainly hope it will be, but things like no ghosts in time trial. A friend of mine wanted to race my ghost and it wasn't available. There's no free roam with friends. I'm not bothered about that as such, but I do believe that is something to worthwhile mentioning, because if you just wanted to chill, go for a little journey with your mates, no sort of stress or pressure, you're not going to be able to. No dynamic weather, and finally no option for a drying or wetter circuit. It's either dry, cloudy, overcast, or rainy. So there's a few things to mention there, but I really feel, with listing the pros and cons, this game is still worth its money. I really have enjoyed my time with this. The sparks on the riders, knee sliders when they go into some of the tighter corners, the sense of speed, the feeling, it really does outweigh those cons. And I hope this video has helped you guys make your mind up whether this is worth your money or not. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below, did you enjoy this video? Has it helped you make your mind up? Let me know. And of course, if it did, tick that like button as well, because it does help the channel and it really does help push the YouTube algorithm along. so I do appreciate the support for that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. If there's anything you want to see in particular, let me know in the comments section. I'll be happy to oblige. I have already done quite a lot of content on TT3, so I may have already covered what you're looking for already. But guys, thanks for watching this video. It's been a pleasure to make for you. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Consider becoming a member of the DrAce pit crew if you fancy, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce